You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
It's wonderful. It's brilliant. I'm a wartime president now. All presidents who start a war in their first term always get reelected. I thought I was going to have to bomb Australia or something.
I know it. It all sounds like some bad movie.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Moviesucktastic, episode 103.
Now, of course, for this episode, we're backtracking to a few episodes ago where I mentioned last minute at the end of the episode the film Iron Sky. And so Joey and I talked behind the scenes and said, well, we'll just make that the challenge to him to get the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
And which I feel a little bad because we've been talking about a lot of films in the past that weren't exactly bad movies. Either we liked them or they weren't that bad. Or like when we were reviewing Life of Pi, we didn't like the film, but it wasn't necessarily a bad movie, so there wasn't
True.
much to harp on. And sometimes it's more entertaining and fun to talk about bad movies as opposed to just, okay.
It's almost always
unfortunately-
more fun to talk about bad movies.
Right, but unfortunately, I think we're going to be off on a bad start here because I love this movie.
I really fucking enjoyed it too.
I told you.
No lie. I mean, from Sarah Palin being our president, they don't actually refer to her as Sarah Palin, but it's her.
For anybody not in the know, we're talking about the film Iron Sky, 2012 film. It's like this, Swedish, Argentinian, whatever. It's a foreign funded film, and the whole concept of it is that the Nazis fled the Earth at the end of the war and set up camp on the dark side of the moon, where they've created this giant moon base, and the whole film is about not moon Nazis attacking Earth.
Right, and
And they do so when Sarah Palin is running for her second term as president of the United States.
Correct. She would have been 2 years in. She'd be preparing to run for her second term. Now, I want to give a little bit of a disclaimer. Just in the fact that if anyone that's going to watch this film or a film like this, if you're not one to rely heavily on suspension of disbelief, you are not going to like this movie.
Well,
you absolutely have.
Saying,
well, yeah.
Are we really to that point where you have to tell people ahead of time this isn't the real life?
I think sometimes you do, because I think when people review it, and they give it a bad review, I think they're looking at it. They're nitpicking too much. They're not going. Listen, it's moon Nazis.
It's like Yelp.
Right
like
there.
Yelp. Have you ever gone on Yelp?
Yo, you sure?
Yeah. All right. First of all, Yelp and 75% of the people on it suck balls.
Yeah.
And it's just like Yelp. These are people that go to like say an Olive Garden, and they'll complain about the food wasn't this good. You're in a fucking Olive Garden.
Yeah. What do you expect?
Everybody that comments on Yelp acts like they went to the fucking Russian tea room and somebody shit on the table. You went to fucking you went to a chain restaurant. You went to TGIF's and you're complaining that the food is greasy. Shut the fuck up. It's the same thing with this. You're going in for a movie.
Right.
If you're going to go into a sci-fi film that's called Iron Sky and it starts with moon Nazis, if you're not on board, just get off board. Just turn it off. Don't bitch that it doesn't make any sense.
Well, and that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at.
Now, on the other hand, we tend to bitch a lot about films that don't make sense, but that's different. That's when they don't make sense in their reality.
Well, we do have a podcast, so I mean, we have microphones in front of our face. That gives us some credibility.
You need to stay true to the reality of the film. That's the rule. So when you start off setting the bar as high as Sarah Palin's second term and moon Nazis, there's not much. You don't really. It's a low bar.
Yeah.
Not high, low. It's low. It's easy to get over. It's okay. So when we throw other wacky shit in there, you're not going to blink. Yeah, don't apologize for those scum. They can't handle just.
Well, I wasn't apologizing. I was just merely. I was merely saying that if you can't handle suspension of disbelief, don't even bother.
If you're one of the whiny bitches that was complaining that Argo didn't tell the exact same story because they had to change things to make it interesting for a film, then just don't watch anything. It's like going to Braveheart with Doug sitting behind you. I didn't do that.
That didn't happen.
No, that war was the other part of and he never said that. Anyway, Gladiator. That's another fun one. Sitting next to a history buff with Gladiator. What about that time period? That was they didn't wear buttons in the 1800s. Those were different buttons back then. Shut the fuck up.
Different buttons.
That was
a real plot point. I mean, that was a real point made. That was made out.
I've seen that in countless historical films where they'll say that the buttons that they're using weren't made until like 10 years later or 15 years later because of the design or the type of pressing. They're fucking insane.
Oh my God.
They are. These people are historical buffs are fucking insane. They don't get it. They don't get it. It's not real. But then these are the people that dress around and play Civil War reenactment bullshit. So they're already not dealing with things properly.
Yeah, that is true. So do we want to move right into the film review, or do we want to do some other things? I know we got a couple of other things planned.
Let's get the movie review out of the way because I already like gave my 2 cents on it the last episode. So I really just want you to comment on it. I'll throw a couple things in there, but I've got my favorite parts.
I got my favorite parts. I mean, one of my favorite parts, and it's not even a part that has like real dialogue. It's when they capture the Negro, the black guy,
the Negro astronaut.
When he's trying to escape, and he opens that hatch, and they both. Well, first of all, the whole suspension of disbelief. I didn't realize you could shoot guns in space, but but
yes, you can shoot guns in space.
You can. You'd be able to dodge a bullet pretty easy, I would think.
Well, the moon has gravity, it has an atmosphere, so you can shoot them. It's not like they're gonna. The laws still apply.
Kind of.
But Nazis built a moon base.
Yes.
Shut up.
All right, but one of my favorite parts is and I thought they were going to go with it this way. When they're flying out that hatch and they come back in, she looks like she's been raped by this black guy. I thought they were going to go with that angle. That they were going to.
They said over the what they said over the intercoms when he was on the loose. He's black and considered dangerous.
No, he's black and possibly angry.
Angry, unarmed, but possibly angry.
That's right. Oh my God! But even before that, they cut away to the White House, and Sarah Palin is on a Stairmaster or something. Mm-hmm. And then that was my first, taste of, oh shit, they're going with this. She's the president.
Yeah. Like when the what do you call it? When the shuttle or whatever lands on the moon, and it has the banner on it that like says the Palin re-election platform, mm-hmm. or whatever. You think it's gonna be a throwaway,
right?
Like, oh, it's in the background. You're not supposed to notice that much. Then she's on the treadmill. So, I guess we're going to town with this then. Okay. They're not pulling. And that's what I love about this film is it didn't pull back. It did. At no point did it like get self-conscious and go, well, I mean, we gotta. This isn't too believable. So, no, fuck it. We're going with it.
I loved her back and forth with the Secretary of Defense in the opening scene where she's talking about putting a man on the moon, and he's like, "Yeah, we thought that it would be good." And then they refer to Colin Powell, and I forget what she says, but he was like, "Yeah, that was close." It's like, yes, people, she is so stupid. She's got a fucking stuffed polar bear in her office.
Now, And here's the braveness of the filmmakers. And I think I'm glad this wasn't like an American production, because a lot of this stuff wouldn't have gotten made. I don't think. Because if you think about any American production put this together, look at what they did. They've already pissed off any teabagger viewers, or anybody who supports Sarah Palin as a viable political option. So that right there, you've got maybe 2% of the population. Then you're polarizing your pro-Nazi Americans and pro-racist Americans by portraying the Nazis in a negative light. So that, you got that going there too. They step on a lot of toes.
Yeah, sure.
Basically, they got rid of the maybe I'd say 5-10% of the far right just said, we don't want you watching this film.
Yeah, don't bother.
Everybody else is good. I mean, there's just little genius things in there too. Like at the beginning, the female lead, she's a teacher and she's teaching these kids propaganda. And the one thing she has in her archives for teaching is just the silent ballet sequence from The Great Dictator.
Oh, the Charlie Chaplin film.
With Charlie Chaplin, just when he's playing with the globe and dancing, and they hold this up as being like an homage to the humanity of Hitler.
Right.
And then later when she's on Earth, she watches the whole thing. She's like, oh wow,
that was long. Yeah, they could have edited that a bit.
It's funny. I mean, like it's funny too, because when they did the whole thing with the smartphone, like the computer, because they don't have computers, so everything's
right.
Cogs and wheels. At first, it was like, okay, so they're gonna go to Earth, and now it's gonna be a fish out of water story. Oh, good, but it doesn't dwell on the fish out of water that much. It handles it and moves on and says, no, we still have Nazis on the moon.
Yeah, that part's coming.
We're not just going to follow them around going, oh, look, what is this thing? You have Japanese people making sushi in the thing? No, it's just, they don't dwell on it. They just move on.
No, they just they quickly go to 3 months later, Yeah. And when you see them, they've adapted.
And the Palin thing becomes like a major part of the storyline, and they just roll with it. It's as if you had Samuel L. Jackson playing the president. Or no, what's his name? The other guy that plays the black president all the time.
Morgan Freeman.
Thank you, Morgan Freeman. Yes.
Think they could have got Morgan Freeman for this?
I think they could have gotten Samuel.
You know what? They probably could have. They probably could have.
I don't know how Tarantino didn't make this. Did no one come up with Tarantino with this script? Because this screams to me. It would have been, but it would have been more serious though. Like on he would have gone more deadpan than they did with this though. A little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, it would have had a lot more dialogue. I mean, because that's his thing.
So maybe it's a good thing they didn't put Quentin.
Yeah, probably not. Oh yeah, now, the part on the scene right now is where she looks like she's been raped by this black guy, James Washington.
And then so they take the black astronaut and they make him white.
Mm-hmm. They make him white.
and that joke like survives most of the film. It's just a lot of spoiler alerts here, but I mean it's just now my favorite part had to be the sit down North Korea.
Sit down. Sit down North Korea. Definitely one of
and death by salute. That was a great one.
Death by salute.
At the end, she gets the guy Sig Heil.
Yep. What I like too, and it's just a little take when the one campaign, she's the promoter, and she has her staff put together, the whole propaganda for the campaign, and she says anyone that's not part of this specific blah 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 leave the room, and there's like a few people left behind, and she goes on a whole rant about. I'm meeting with the fucking president of the United States, blah, 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 and all that. That's from a pretty famous German Nazi film that has been circulating on the internet, that they've taken the audio of that and put in their own subtitles.
Hitler.
Yeah.
Nine.
Right. When Xbox came out with PlayStation 3, they did it for that, Blu-ray versus HD DVD, and about a million other things. And it's always funny. So when they did it in here, I think a lot of people might not have known where it originated from, where they were kind of borrowing from. But if you seek that out, it makes that scene a lot funnier than it comes off as. So
and I mean, let's just admit it. Nazis are cool.
They're just hilarious.
You know what's even cooler than a Nazi? Udo Kier as a Nazi.
Udo Kier.
I was watching with Holly. The credits roll by. I said, "Udo, it's Udo." Says, who the hell's Udo Kier? So you got to be kidding me. You don't know who Udo Kier is? It's the giant baby from the kingdom. What the hell are you talking about? Giant baby from the kingdom. You need anything else from that? I even went simple. I said, it's the rich guy from Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Nothing.
Nothing, really?
How do you not know Udo? I've had sex dreams about Udo. Oh, yes.
Really?
Well, who hasn't? Come on, it's Udo.
I haven't.
Udo. You're too young.
I'm too young? Wow. It's bold.
I mean, I ranted for about 10 minutes the last episode about this, so I can't really say too much more than
I agree, and it's almost and saying make this the movie challenge. I think it's just an excuse to just talk about it again.
Just get the ball rolling.
Yeah. I mean, really. Are we going to rate Iron Sky on IMDb?
Oh yeah, I guess. I've got it here it's at 6.1 stars.
That's too
low. I wonder what the curve is on that, because that's a damn. It's got close to a cult curve where it peaks in the middle.
Yeah.
No. A cult curve peaks the other way, so it's not a cult curve. The cult curve is where everybody either says 10 or 1, and then there's like very few votes in the middle. This is just the opposite. But 10% of the people that rated it gave it 10 stars. A 6.1 does not do this film justice. This was a fucking hilarious film. This film had when the Nazis attack the Earth, and I'll say it again, goddammit, and they had giant zeppelins towing asteroids that they then thrust into the Earth's orbit and crash in the cities. That's just fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's just cool. Realistic or not, that was fucking cool. At least they didn't come out with laser beams and shit. It was awesome.
Right. They could have easily overdid it with that.
They even blow a hole in the moon. Spoiler alert.
Fucking big hole, too.
Dude, the fucking Nazis. Sarah Palin is a president. Albino black men. There's nothing this film doesn't have.
You remember me? You turned me into a snowflake.
I hope these guys do a sequel. They got to do a sequel or something.
Something
awesome. But
it said it cost 17 million euros. So that's roughly, what is that? Pretty much double that. So it's like $35 million budget. So it had a real budget. And that's why it looked so good. That's why the special effects were so good.
I mean, a lot of it's on the cheap as far as like the special effects and stuff, but
I mean they have their green screen, but how else are you going to do Nazis on the moon?
Well, it's done well. It doesn't look like it's done on Amiga.
Right.
So
exactly.
I'm gonna jump it right now and say let's do 8.
Yeah, I couldn't be in more agreement with that.
A solid 8. I don't care if it's not
8.
Citizen Kane. It was well written. It kept your interest, and I also love the part at the end where all the other nations attack the Nazis too because all of their peaceful satellites were actually armed.
Right.
And then she's like, "Well, all right. Well, what country? Anybody here did not arm their satellites?" And Sweden raises their hand. And what's funny is 2 weeks before I ever saw this film, somebody had posted on Facebook, and they just posted, "Who didn't arm their satellites?" Sweden raises hands. And I'm like, I don't get it. Well, what's that from? It didn't have any reference to it. Oh. And then 2 weeks later, I'm watching the film. I was like, there it is. Now it's funny. Sit down, North Korea. I need that as like I need that as a sound on my phone.
Sure.
Sit down, North Korea. You know what's funny? Not only, I mean, that line's great. Have you watched the trailer for Olympus Is Falling?
I did just see it. Yeah.
If you watch carefully, there's a brief sit down North Korea moment where No, wait, is it that or no? It's not. It's G.I. Joe 2. I keep getting those two mixed up because they both look horrible. It's G.I. Joe 2. He's threatening the other nations of the free world with this nuclear thing. The guy what's his name? Destro is taking over as the president.
Oh, right.
And he said this would be capable of destroying every country in this room 13 times over, 14 in the case of North Korea. And there's a quick shot of North Korea that throws their hands up like, what? It's just like, oh shit, on North Korea is coming back. It's great.
Well, yeah, I mean, the new Red Dawn remake, that was all about North Korea.
Oh,
shitting on North Korea is the in thing right now.
Well, it's easy to do. It's easy to do because there's no like conflict of interest. I mean, you can't.
Yeah, no one's going to say you can't do that. It's like, yeah, I can.
Really, no one's really jumping to the aid of North Korea. Like, oh, that's fair game.
Exactly. Now I'm looking here at some numbers for Iron Sky. It doesn't have an official budget other than the 17 million euro, so I'm just going to go by that.
Right.
Domestically, it was released in 8 theaters here in the United States. It made $122,000. Worldwide, it made $8 million. So
now that's theatrical.
Theatrical, yeah, I'm
right?
sure.
Yeah. This thing is like tearing up. Like I've heard about this film ever since I've seen it. I've heard about it like a dozen times in other formats. This film caught on quickly, word of mouth, streaming, rentals. This film has been flying. So they're making. I mean, how often does like a little crappy directed video type film like this get any kind of attention?
Now, check this out. This is interesting. I'm looking at the foreign market, and I'm looking at the distributors for the foreign market. Okay?
Yes.
For Germany, it was the number one movie in Germany, or it made the most money in Germany. It made 4.3 million of the 8 million. Okay? It made.
You know why?
Why?
You know why? Because the Nazis aren't in Germany.
We can
laugh.
It made 1.3 million in its opening weekend. So think of it made 4 million total there, and it made 1.3 of it made a quarter of its money in just the opening weekend. Now,
no, go ahead.
In Denmark, in Finland, that was the number 2 country. It made $2 million. But the distributor, it was distributed by Disney in Finland. How fucking creepy is that? Disney distributed this in Finland.
I think Disney should have released it here.
And then Gulf, as in the people who, give you gas in the United Arab Emiratis. Is that how you say that? I don't even know. Emirates?
Emeritus, I think.
Emeritus?
I believe it's Emeritus.
Oh, yeah, it is Emeritus. Yeah, that makes more sense. Anyway, Gulf. Fucking oil company. But of course, it makes sense. It's in fucking Arab. But I just thought that was interesting that Disney is one of the distributors for this film.
Why not? They've distributed enough shit before. About time they distribute something that's interesting. I'll put this up against the black hole any day.
Yeah. And the number 3 country was Sweden. 600,000.
I guess they must have liked that line in the film then. How much did it make in North Korea?
It was not released in North Korea.
Damn.
It was not released in a lot of countries at all. According to the list, I would guess, instead of counting down the line, maybe 25 countries.
Damn good film. Rent it. It's on Netflix streaming, so you have to get it on Netflix streaming.
Oh, it is on Netflix streaming. Very nice.
That's where I saw it. Yeah, that's where I saw it. Awesome. It's just I can't recommend it enough. And I promise we won't be recommending the film we review next week. Apparently,
that ain't gonna happen.
But anyway, yes, this is kind of like a reboot, refresher reboot for us. We're going to be back on track 100% with episode 100 which will be next week.
Yeah.
What episode is that again?
It'll be 104. This is episode 103.
As I said. So, but that's pretty much it. Until then, you can listen to our back episodes and other stuff by going to Moviesucktastic. I'm just like exploding here. I don't know what's going on. You can go to Moviesucktastic.com and download our podcast, or you can go to iTunes. We're there. Subscribe to us. Download us. If you do go to iTunes and subscribe to us, leave a positive 5-star review there, and then listen to us and figure out if we actually deserved it. I think that's fair.
Yeah, because I don't think you can take it away once you do it.
No. But it's like a nice roll of the dice. It's a gamble there.
Yeah.
Also, you can check out our Facebook page and our blog, which is a little behind. All of that is accessible from the main website, which is Moviesucktastic.com.
Yeah.
And you can listen to the podcast live from Moviesucktastic.com, and you can also download it from our Facebook page. So there, you got no excuse for not downloading it.
Yo. That's right, bitches. Anywhere you go, if you do a Google search for us, you will find us. You can leave us voicemail at 908-514-4470 as well. We'll definitely play your voicemail. Like Scott said last week, if it's the wrong number, we're going to fucking play it.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's how we roll.
And my words of wisdom for this episode?
Mm-hmm.
Ogre load.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.